iPad 9th gen in 2026. Let's jump on into the review. So, quick introduction, the iPad 9th gen is basically a 2021 model that is still on sale in 2026. It was launched for around $329, packed with solid specs like 10.2-inch Retina display with a true tone 12 megapixel ultra wide camera. We don't use iPads for their camera. It support Apple Pencil and smart keyboards. In other words, this is like a budget iPad in the video. Let's see how well it feels today. So from my personal experience and my impressions and who is it for, spoiler alert, it's still a capable device in 2026. So who is it for? If you need an affordable iPad with great operating system and a ton of apps, the iPad 9th Gen is aimed right at you. It's perfect for students, families, or anyone who wants that solid device for web browsing, email, streaming videos, light gaming, note-taking. It's great for browsing the web, video chats, and even calls. It is a great choice for kids. If you don't need the absolute latest feature, this iPad is right up your alley. If you do, get yourself an iPad Air or iPad Pro. No rush though. All right, because we already know how expensive those are. Let's go on into the build quality. Physically, the design is a bit dated with all these big chunks, bezels, but it still has Touch ID. So if you're a huge fan of Touch ID, this will definitely be for you. Do feel a bit of metal on the back that is still great, but the design looks very 2015. The time has passed. It's not cutting edge. You do get Touch ID on the home button, no Face ID, and yes, you do have lightning ports. And I know that is a huge deal breaker for some people, but I still use lightning on a lot of devices. And it does include a headphone jack, which is perfect in today's society. You can connect an Apple Smart keyboard easily. It's around 1 pound, feels thicker, but it also means it has a sturdier frame. The design is a bit dated, but functional. Hardware you can drop in a bag without worrying. That's one thing I do love about these older iPads. On to my favorite part, the display. The iPad 9th Gen has a 10.2-inch display. It is Retina LCD 264 ppi. It supports True Tone. It does adjust to color temperatures to match ambient lighting. And Apple claims it's 500 nits of brightness. In practice, it's bright enough indoors and on cloudy days. The picture is clear, it's colorful. Though it isn't an OLED screen, it's pretty good. It does have that Pro Motion treatment. One downside is the display isn't fully laminated, so there is a small gap between the glass and the actual panel, which does affect a bit how the Apple Pencil works. More on that later. You do get to see a slight gap in the glass, and it's highly reflective. In other words, glare can be an issue outdoors or under bright lights while they're indoors viewing Netflix, watching YouTube. But it still looks great when you use it directly in the sun, but it's a bit of an inconvenience. There's also a wider color gamut and an anti-reflective coating, which also means the screen isn't as crisp up close as the Pro or the Air. Basically a caveat, big borders and a bit of screen gap. It sounds worse when I'm reviewing it, but practically most people will never realize this difference. Let's get on into software. Inside we do have the Apple A13 Bionic chip, the same CPU launched in the iPhones in 2029. In benchmark, that's meant about 20 to 30% jump over the previous iPad, the A12. But in everyday use, you won't notice much of a difference. Scrolling, web browsing, watching videos, running most apps all feel snappy, being about 20 to 30% faster. It doesn't mean much for normal tasks in my own setting when I was checking it out. You can still stream in HD smoothly on Netflix, multitask, split screen picture to picture still works well. It's perfectly fine for iPad OS. It does support the latest iPad OS. You get the awesome screen widgets. But still, sadly, we just have to work with Touch ID. Gaming, you won't get ultra high graphics. It runs better on medium settings. So it's not a gamer tablet, but it's still great for casual games like that Brawl Stars, Clash of Clans, Clash Royale. In short, the A13 chip is still plenty fast for most people, Battery life is one of the areas that this iPad shines. It's advertised that it's a all-day battery life. You have that 10 hours of battery life. My own use, once this iPad is on a full charge, the battery takes forever to go down. Charging it, on the other hand, not too good. It's around 8 hours at fixed brightness, but in practical use, you'll roughly get throughout the entire day. I easily go through a work day, one charge, streaming, browsing, gaming, note taking. Usually ends the day with about 18%, and I even fall asleep streaming shows, and I wake up the next morning and my battery is still not empty. So the battery life is solid. The charging though is a bit slower. It's a bit dated device, so the charging is not that particularly good. And now let's go on to everybody's favorite thing on a iPad, the camera. Photo quality isn't the main selling point here, but the upgrades are worth noting. The rear camera is 8 megapixel with a f.24 aperture. It takes normal photos, but you won't expect iPhone level photo qualities. It's mainly serviceable for scanning documents or quick snapshots, where the 9th gen really shine is the front camera. It has a 12 megapixel ultra wide with a center stage, and it takes much better photos with a 1080p video and supports Apple's newest center stage tech that pans to keep you in the video. So the camera tracks you when you're on FaceTime, which is so sick. I do love that about the iPad, and I wish they would integrate this more into the iPhones. So the iPad does support a plethora of devices such as the Apple Pencil and other third-party stylus. You do have the first gen pencil, which appears via the lightning port. It does not support the newer magnetic pencil, which is a bummer. If you wanted that fancy charging and that double tap stylus, this pencil won't work for you. I would definitely recommend getting one of those third-party stylus that your boy has. Let me show y'all how that stylus looks. So I do have this third-party stylus, and what I do love about this stylus is that I do have a display here to see the battery health. I don't know if y'all can see it perfectly. Display to see the battery health, and it still works. You get a bunch of different tips to change at the top, which works very good. It's still reliable, even though it's not officially an Apple product. It gets the job done when it comes on to taking notes, drawing. I'm not a big drawing guy, so I can't give you nothing much on that, I'm gonna be honest to y'all, but it does get the job done. The good thing about these stylus is their battery health are amazing. I probably charge this once a month. That's how good the battery health is on this. If you want me to recommend this, just comment down below. And now let's get on into keyboard and typing. Typing on the iPad 9 is, well, fine. It has that smart connector, so you can just attach an Apple smart keyboard. And the one I've got is a bit generic keyboard. It is a Bluetooth keyboard, but it works flawlessly with no lag on iPad OS. Handles external keyboards just like a mini laptop. You do get that cursor keyboard shortcut and even full screen apps when attached to the keyboard. And there's a bunch of shortcuts for productivity. I would do recommend getting the Apple keyboard if you can, or Logitech's Combo Touch for the best experience. They fold into a cover and they have a trackpad. So in everyday use, I found that Bluetooth keyboards were fine, no flush pairing, and it stayed connected throughout the entire day. Caveat is, if you use the official keyboard cover, remember it's somewhat plastic. So overall, I prefer typing on the other keyboards, such as Bluetooth keyboards. Now let's get on into the pros and the cons of the iPad. Base value price is great. You can find them on Facebook Marketplace for a lot cheaper for the 64 gigabyte models. It's cheap, it's affordable than most tablets or computers. Still has that strong A13 chip that is very reliable still in 2026. That all-day battery, getting anywhere from 8 to 10 hours is beautiful, getting that one charge. It's great that they updated the quality of the front camera, giving you all that center stage and that 12 megapixel. There's still a huge amount of apps because it does support iPad OS still in 2026. And you do have Netflix, other apps, Apple TV to watch a bunch of movies. Now let's get on into some of the cons. The design is a bit dated, so all the bezels does look like 2015. It has no Face ID, just Touch ID, which is kind of essential in 2026. The Lightning port, which is a huge bother for a lot of people because they just have USB-C. The laminated screen, meaning that you won't get the absolute best quality out of the Apple Pencil. My final gripe with the iPad, it isn't OLED. But for the price, can you complain? You can get these for so cheap on Facebook Marketplace. The rear-facing camera is 8 megapixel, but in today's society, that is complete dookie. All right, so conclusion and recommendation. Who should buy the iPad 9th Gen in 2026? If you want a reliable iPad, if you're on a budget, it's still a great pick. As to put it, it's a very capable device. It's perfect for kids and students, casual Netflix bingers, or anyone who just wants a tablet for email browsing, note-taking, video calls. The battery and the app supports won't go obsolete overnight. However, if you want a cutting edge-to-edge Apple Pencil 2 USB-C speeds or do serious graphic work, I would recommend jumping to an iPad Air or an iPad Pro. What do I use the iPad for? I use it as a third monitor for my setup. I do light gaming, as well as one of the few Apple products that I still use is the Apple Pencil. You get it for a way cheaper when you buy them refurbished or on a marketplace. As for accessories, to be quite honest, I barely use any of them. I can say is the speaker a bit impressed me for the price, and frankly it doesn't replace a laptop and it's not meant to. That being said, so the choice is yours. Is the iPad 9th Gen worth it in 2026? Yes and no. Thank you for dropping by.